Meshii Wi-Fi is a safe and secure community-driven network which enables you to share some of your internet connection through your Meshii hub, helping others while earning a passive income for doing so. Creating multiple small connections with Meshii builds one large decentralized mesh network for your community, allowing data and communications to flow safely from hub to hub. Then, thanks to Meshii's blockchain technology, rewards will be sent to your Meshii account. Once you've collected enough rewards, you can claim them and then access them through your digital wallet, allowing you to pay bills, buy a coffee, or use for whatever you choose. Using Meshii, we can all use the internet for what we love, while building a secure Wi-Fi network for everyone. So, join the new age of Wi-Fi, earn some passive income, and connect with Meshii.
Meshii is, it's essentially, in my own words, it's a device that you can use to extend your bandwidth and utilize it when you aren't actually using it. We all pay for subscriptions, but what if there was a way to provide access to the bandwidth that you're not consuming at any point in time, downtime, weekends, whatever, to the community, and make some money on the side from that. So it's a way of turning a service which you don't, if you have excess bandwidth that you don't use, you don't see, that's essentially just lost bandwidth. So being able to have a subscription and then make money from that when you're not being able to utilize it to its fullest.
Well, we have many products that allow for decentralization and to basically put the power in the people's hands rather than the big corporations. That's sort of one idea. And it allows for sort of, in terms of stuff like, you have NFTs that allow for sort of more secure ownership of assets. And things like DAOs, so decentralized autonomous organizations. So that's sort of the equivalent of, I guess, a company, but within sort of using decentralized stuff.
There's kind of a range of technologies which kind of culminate to the product which are interesting. So you've got the blockchain aspect of it, you've got the meshing aspect of it, and then you've got all the layers in between which integrate those together, which are interesting. And also the math side of it, like how do you assign a score or like value to like the metrics which come out from devices, and then how does that work into the tokenomics? So yeah, just a range of fields which are all interesting that I could all dabble in. So yeah, that's what kind of made me join.
The most important thing straight away is to get a network in an area up and running, because in order for consumers to come in and use it, it needs to be reliable. You can't have patchy networks all over the place. So it's getting the network up and running in a particular location, and that's where the focus is this year in Salisbury and Bath, is to get those networks up and running. What we can then do is use the people who have the devices in their homes to help evangelize the network amongst their friends and family in their local area, get the message out there that the network exists, and really start to push that.
Well, I mean, the main point is to return value to people that are able to share their Wi-Fi, I guess. Because you have Virgin Media and these sort of companies that are taking all the profits of sort of data, and obviously it's quite expensive, especially during a cost of living crisis. So we're sort of trying to give value back to people that are able to provide value to sort of customers of meshii, basically.
So meshii is really exciting to me because it means that people will be able to share their spare internet. So for people such as myself, I have unlimited internet and I barely make a dent in that each month. So to be able to monetize that internet that is left over is quite exciting, and also it will help people who don't have access to affordable internet to get connected.
We don't necessarily want a society where most people have no control over their own lives, and a tiny percentage of people have complete control. And we've seen something like that with, for example, the bank run-ins with the Silicon Valley Bank, and then a series of multiple banks who were also partly bailed out in some sense. And most ordinary people had no control over that in any sense. And yeah, at the same time, Bitcoin was reasonably stable. It was fine. This is one of the major cryptocurrencies. It was stable. In fact, it went up. And so part of it is to say that we can hopefully stabilize our own communities if everyone believes that this thing works, in the same way that real money only has its value in the fact that we believe it does. It's more than anything else, it's just paper, well, plastic now, but yeah, its value is derived from what we give to it.
So I think as technologies, I think blockchain is kind of the underlying technology that facilitates cryptocurrencies. It's basically an immutable ledger. And I think provided the token or the currency is actually representative of something of innate value, then blockchain as a technology is suitable for that. So I think the future is quite bright. It's not a technology which is going to die or disappear. And I think adoption for it will continue to grow. So yeah, it's not something I think we should be worried about.
So meshii is all about bringing Wi-Fi to underprivileged communities, and it's the mission is basically to level the playing field for internet access, to just get everybody on the internet as best we can, fill in holes in the networks that exist out there, and basically be an alternative to some of the other networks.
User adoption. It has to be ease of use. It's still seen as unapproachable. And that's the biggest problem, because the technology is proven that it's kind of stayed its course and it's working, and some amazing things are being built on it. Yeah, there is that kind of, they're the untrustworthy types that still exist in the industry, and that's something that will, every cycle, those people get flushed out. They fall away. Unfortunately, the market collapses. But then new things spring up for that. You got to think of it as like a winter, and now we're like in a new spring, and more trustworthy companies will come out of this. But with regulations on the forefront, once that comes into the forefront, once that becomes a thing, I think we're going to see less scams. It's going to become more trustworthy. There'll always be that element there, but as that trustworthiness becomes apparent, the biggest barrier to entry is going to be user adoption.
Sort of staking pool for meshii tokens to allow for sort of distributing stable coins. So that will be a sort of revenue sharing scheme for owners of meshii. They are sort of programs that live on the blockchain, and you can call functions of a smart contract to perform some sort of task. The meshii token, for example, would be a smart contract in itself. So you can call a smart contract to transfer the token or check the balance of how many tokens you have. Or another example could be like the staking pool, as I mentioned, where you could stake your meshii tokens to lock them up, and then you would receive yield in return in the form of a stable coin such as USDC or USDT.
So one of the reasons for choosing Salisbury and Bath for the rollout is Salisbury is flat, Bath is hilly. So one of the things that we're trying to solve is the connectivity between all of the different meshii devices in people's homes and businesses, and make sure that they can work across lots of different terrains, and making sure that those patches that might exist within somewhere like Bath are ironed out, and we know how to make that work properly. So that's probably one of the biggest challenges that we're up against when we roll out the networks.
If you are in Salisbury or Bath and you haven't yet signed up and registered your interest, it is definitely worthwhile doing so, because they are the two areas that we are launching first. We are giving people the opportunity to receive a meshii hub for free, so you won't have to purchase that device. You can simply, when we're ready to launch, you can plug it into your internet at home and you can start sharing any spare internet and start earning as well.
Meshii Wi-Fi is a safe and secure community-driven network which enables you to share some of your internet connection through your meshii hub, helping others while earning a passive income for doing so. Creating multiple small connections with meshii builds one large decentralized mesh network for your community, allowing data and communications to flow safely from hub to hub. Then, thanks to meshii's blockchain technology, rewards will be sent to your meshii account. Once you've collected enough rewards, you can claim them and then access them through your digital wallet, allowing you to pay bills, buy a coffee, or use for whatever you choose. Using meshii, we can all use the internet for what we love, while building a secure Wi-Fi network for everyone. So, join the new age of Wi-Fi, earn some passive income, and connect with meshii.
It's trying to even the playing field with internet service providers, and since internet access is such an important part of our modern day life, it's trying to make sure that everyone has that. I think one of the problems with internet service providers is they don't have any incentive to make sure that the internet access that users get is extremely good. And I think this is a reasonably common thing where if you go around someone else's house, then there are places in their house where, even in your own house, there are places in the house where the internet access isn't perfect. Even though you have a router, you've paid the same amount every single month, in fact, possibly increasing amounts, and yet there are places in your house where you don't have internet access. Whereas, I guess with meshii, that should be a thing where you have strong internet access in every part of your city, in every part of your house, and that's something that most people deserve, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. There is skepticism. I mean, there are a lot of known pump and dump schemes where people jump on the bandwagon of a token, kind of with the hope that its value spikes up, and then they dump the token and sell it for a large amount of money. So yeah, the skepticism is definitely justified, but it's really up to the us or consumers to kind of evaluate a token and say, okay, does this token actually represent something of value? Like if I buy this, is it actually going to hold value? And if you can say that of it, then there's no reason that token shouldn't sort of undergo shouldn't spike up in value or jump down in value. Should hopefully kind of grow as you'd expect with an investment. So when you buy a house, you'd expect its value to steadily grow. And you can also hope that of cryptocurrencies.
The most important thing is the problems we're not trying to solve today. So yes, we might have this technology which we can develop and people can make or earn some money on redistributing their bandwidth that they're not using. But that's how we're approaching it from today's point of view. I think the use cases that are not apparent, that we haven't thought about, those are going to be the real game changers, because we still don't have a way for the Internet of Things to be a reality. And if we can have a network that people are contributing to, and that's reliable, that's fast, has a lot of throughput, it changes the way we look at how things are going to be connected. Whether that is identifying how many free parking spaces there are in a garage, which you can get real-time updates for when you're driving. You want to go to Tesco's or you want to go to a shopping mall. How do you know when you're driving up to that parking garage if there are actually parking spaces available? That's the kind of stuff that when you have a permanently connected network, the usefulness that comes out of it. And that's only the start of it. So it's kind of, we're adding utility for people, but I think the biggest thing it's going to change are problems we don't even know exist until we have something that can fit in there and slot in, and we go, well, this actually helps us solve other problems we never knew we had.
Some users are going to buy, say, routers to be able to form this mesh network, hence meshii, and part of it is deciding how people who buy routers to support the network will be rewarded, and that's part of what I've been working on. How we will score, rank people based on how well they've done, and how much to reward them accordingly.
We need to be able to show that cryptocurrencies and the likes of Bitcoin and all of the other financial aims of these platforms is bringing about something that is sustainable for the future. Bitcoin is one of those things that started this whole industry. Meshii is something that can take it forward to the next level, and building projects like Meshii on cryptocurrencies and on crypto exchanges in this way really helps to stabilize things.
So Meshii is a decentralized Wi-Fi service that sort of incentivizes the sharing of your broadband by providing sort of tokens on a blockchain, and that allows for cheaper data plans and Wi-Fi services for people that are less fortunate and that can't afford sort of normal broadband.
At the moment we are working out the end-to-end flow of evaluating the metrics we get from the router devices and assign them a score, so compute that score and then convert that score into a reward and amount of tokens, and work out how we distribute those tokens across the participants of the mesh, so the people that use the Wi-Fi and the actual routers which provide the Wi-Fi. So yeah, that's what we're hoping to build out within the next few weeks. And then after that there's a load of front-end work which is to be done, but yeah.
I think meshii's mission is to try and give internet access reliably to a community, and as we branch out, I guess this will be to most communities in the UK and the US and most of the Western world, and most of the developed world, hopefully. That's really is the mission, and affordable internet access more than anything else.
I think it's just the way in which Meshii is going to revolutionize the Wi-Fi industry. It's really filling that gap that some of the bigger networks can't fill as easily, and really the community-driven approach to it is one of those things that really enticed me to get involved.
It's kind of like when you build a bonfire, right? You need a certain amount of inertial mass to begin with to ignite it, to kind of seed the network. So that isn't really a technological problem, that's more so a policy and administrative. It's kind of working together with your local community to kind of gather up enough applicants to kind of build up the initial mesh so that it's actually appealing for people to use. And obviously as more people use it, then word gets out that, oh, here's this Wi-Fi which is accessible and performant. And then steadily with time, you'd expect that network to grow in size. Obviously, there's that initial mass which is needed. But again, it's kind of like how you go around your neighborhood, like by word of mouth, to get the word out. So, yeah.
I think bringing the crypto concept into real experiences for people is going to be important. Bringing some form of regulation to it as well is going to be really important as we move into the next phase.
I think, yeah, I like their mission. I like what they're trying to do, and it's a good thing. It's an interesting project more than anything else. They're trying to combine somehow parts of crypto, which I guess for the general public might not be an important part of the project, but it's an interesting part of the project to me, and also trying to help people and making sure that they have access to internet access, especially people like students who might not be able to pay for large packages from internet service providers, but still need internet access nonetheless.
So all I would say is get involved. People just need to get involved in it. It's not difficult to get involved. It's not complicated. We can help get people set up with meshii devices in their home, or if you want to invest in meshii, that's okay as well. We can set you up as an investor. If you want, we're always looking for people to join the team. So it's just we're trying to build a community here, and it's just open for people to get involved as and when they want.